Dave, would you like to introduce our next guest?
Yes, indeed. Nancy O'Litty is joining us. She is the Executive Director of the National Industrial Transportation League,
It's
NITL.
not easy.
And yeah, and I want to say a shout out to Elizabeth Barna for introducing you to us, Nancy. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. I actually think I may have done your show when I was with Truckload Carriers Association, but that's been a while, I have to say.
It has been okay. I think you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, a little late. Not sure what went on with the phone, but here we are, right?
If phones could make calls as well as they take pictures, we'd be in great shape.
And my phone, I really think it's time for a new one because everything goes directly to voicemail and I don't know how to stop it. I'm like, okay, all right. But I got in, so I'm happy to be here and happy to rejoin the radio show. I'm not sure that the listeners know what NITL is. Should I give a little?
Well, I was going to ask you because if nobody knows NITL, and I was wondering if you said NITL, and you do. It goes back a lot far. It goes back further than trucking itself. I think it's 1907.
Yes, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
It was one of the very first nonprofits, I think, that formed to support and be the voice of a group. Our group happens to be shippers, and we over the years, our membership changes as everything else does. But we still basically represent industrial shippers. We still have, and I'll name a couple just so people understand who we're representing. We have small chemical distributors. We have large companies like Exxon, BP, and Shell. We have paper, a lot of paper products, CHS. We also have Cargill. We have Packaging Corporation. It's quite a mix. And now we actually have more just product based. So we have Nestle Purina, we have Armada, we have companies. So we're very, very diverse. We also represent or have members that are the ports. So the ports also support NITL's work. So it is growing and continues to grow. And of course, we're in some very turbulent times for supply chain. And our members are definitely feeling the hit.
Well, yeah, and when you say turbulent times in the supply chain, you're generally speaking in terms of, if not months, then maybe weeks, but now it's like day to day, and we're talking about tariffs, of course. I did a little research about that, and back in the 1930s, Robert Merton mentioned the 5 causes of unintended consequences, and I believe that the rule of unintended consequences is really playing into the tariff thing right now. And the 5 he mentioned were error, okay, basic values, short-term versus long-term interests, and that's a real topic to kind of just dive into. And then ignorance, and then self-defeating prophecies. You put all that together. How many of those boxes do you think are being checked right now in terms of tariffs and the supply chain at large?
The tariffs, I think people also do not understand what tariffs mean. And if I could just explain quickly, tariffs, people say it, but people don't believe it. So tariffs are taxes on imported goods. And U.S. companies, when shipments arrive at our ports, are the ones paying that tariff, not the person sending it. So it has definitely affected the cost of things to dramatic proportions. So if you're shipping, just a quick example, and you have a 25% tariff, you're already adding $250,000 to that freight. And that's nothing to do with the move. That's just the tariff. And our companies are paying that. It's not other countries paying it. It's the U.S. paying it, and it's our shippers. So the other issue, as you said, is you could at least manage if you knew things were going to be the same for longer than a day. When you're messing with tariffs and you're saying, prolong 90 days, okay, so how do you actually write a contract? How do you make a deal when you're so uncertain that that's not going to go rise, low, go out. You know what I mean? It's really causing havoc. I don't think that people realize yet either that it looks good right now, sort of, but the effect of it hasn't hit us. And I'm pretty sure by December, everyone, every consumer, every person is going to feel the hit of the tariffs. It's just the way it's going to go.
I got a chance to talk, Dave and I did, to Howard Yaris, the economist, and one of the things that he pointed out to a lot of people about what also happens with tariffs that people don't realize is that rather than opening up possibilities for Americans to buy local goods when there is a competing local good at a cheaper rate, the local good actually says, oh, wait a minute, I can raise my price as long as it is still below the price of where the tariff has been added. I'm still cheaper. So that they might be cheaper, but they're only cheaper in comparison to the tariff taxed good. Is that fair? Is that what you guys are seeing as well?
100%. Well said, and 100%. I think if we could, it doesn't help the supply chain or the economy to divert something for 90 days. You're still knowing that it's coming. Right now, warehouses are packed full because everybody did their rush, but the numbers already drastically dropped or have already dropped in July. So I know for a fact we also represent coffee, and not the bottom line coffee, but the things that go into coffee. And that has drastically been hit with the tariff. And also finding ways to get it here. You know, we're having the problem where the carriers are not making what they need to make either. So they're blank sailing all over the place. So you may have a contract and it's supposed to be picked up, but they blank sail. So they skip that port. What are you to do then? And then you're going to pay demurrage fees because your stuff is sitting there past the time it's allowed to sit there. It's a really, supply chain is not, it's complicated, and there are a lot of people involved in a movement of freight. So now my shippers are also, so they're paying tariffs, they're paying demurrage on product that did not get picked up by the carrier, not their fault. We are working and talking with the administration and Capitol Hill to say there has to be some leverage or a little bit of forgiveness here if the ship is not going to stop at the port. So it has gotten, I can't even explain the chaos that it's caused. And I'm not saying I'm against tariffs. As a NITL voice, I'm just saying I don't think it's playing out the way we thought it would.
The law of unintended consequences. Okay, so back in June, you guys sent a letter to the Honorable Sean Duffy, DOT, Louis Sola, Federal Maritime Commission, Howard Lutnick, Department of Commerce. You signed on with, how many, do you know offhand? I don't want to embarrass you because I can't count them up. It's way too many. This is pages of organizations and companies and groups and associations. My goodness gracious alive. It's like everybody in the country has signed on to this letter. Any response so far? This was in June.
We have not received response. And one of the other issues, okay, so.
What does the letter say? Just in a quick,
It was asking, one, to get the tariffs under control. Either keep them, get rid of them, and keep the same percentage. Because you cannot. How do you manage a contract when you don't know you just don't know, okay? And we all know when COVID hit, it was similar because everybody used COVID, right? Well, everybody's kind of using this chaos as well. And we were just asking them to work with the administration to have a clearer, a more strategic plan. How's that? A better strategic plan so that we can all work together. That coalition that you're speaking of works really, really on a lot of issues together because obviously it affects all of our members. So I'm trying to pull up the letter for you right now, too. Hold on.
And let me tell our listeners, too, while you're doing that, anybody can pull up this letter like I did. Just go to NITL.org, NITL.org, the National Industrial Transportation League. And the letter is there. You can read it. And if you want to take some time, count up all of these organizations and groups. My goodness, I've never seen anything like it, ever.
I think it was over. I can't remember the number on that letter actually either. I'm blanking on it. We've done so many letters lately though, because there's another issue about. So a lot of times, freight will start on one carrier, ocean carrier, and then be moved to a second, sometimes a third carrier. Well, there's a term in the executive order that in transit, which we've asked the customs CBP to explain what does it mean in transit. Is it when it hit the first ship, when it hit the second ship? Because it's causing, again, you think these little words don't mean anything, but they mean a great deal. So now we're trying to get clarification from CBP on in transit, which we wrote that letter, I think that was in June as well, and we've heard nothing back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little frustrating to try to work with the new administration on issues.
Nancy, this is something kind of interesting too, and I'm making sure that our listeners get the proper takeaway from this. Even the smartest folks can't actually function in the occult. And by occult, I mean that with a lowercase o, because there are three kind of balances. There is symmetrical, asymmetrical, and then there is the occult. And the reason why the occult gets used in the bigger term as being like chaos theory is the fact that if it was big tariffs and they were permanent and there they were and that was the policy moving forward, your folks could plan for it. If it was lower tariffs and that was the plan moving forward, it seems to me the stress point isn't over the policy of tariffs, it's over the lack of policy of tariffs and the lack of clarity on tariffs. I got that correct?
100% again. You're just doing great. That is true. But I think the bottom line that everyone still needs to understand is that it's U.S. companies paying that tariff. It is not other countries, which I think the president states quite a bit that we're making all this money from other countries. We're making money on the U.S. shipper.
Yeah, and it sets up a really interesting dilemma too, because I don't want to get I am not going to pull you any place that is where you guys don't have your bailiwick, but it also kind of reminds people that revenue is revenue is revenue. And at the end of the day, you can call it what you like, but it's like at the end of the day, when John Roberts didn't overturn the ACA, he mentioned the point is the government has a right to tax people and it has a right to do that. But at the end of the day, this is in fact a tax on the American consumer, and then your partners have a choice of whether to pass it on to them in regards to the cost. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I want to make sure I got that really clear. We have a little bit of time left here. And what we're going to do, by the way, Nancy, is we're going to make a point of having you back on sooner rather than later, because we're not even going to get close to the rail mergers or the independent contractor issue in New Jersey. But I would like you just in a minute or so to talk really quickly about that rail merger and then maybe set it up for the next conversation. We'll get you back on like real soon because it's important stuff here.
And I'll get a new phone.
Yeah. Just hopefully not from overseas, though, man. You know what the cost of that's going to be like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, my Lord, right? So the rail merger will be one of the largest in history. It's, point to point, which sounds like a great thing, right? That you will eliminate being able to blame somebody else because it's going to be one company, right? Not good for rail. Rail already only has 5 Class 1s left, and NITL on record has said it doesn't matter who it is, that we really shouldn't have any more mergers in rail. There already is a lack of competition, and the more power that we give a rail, the less, again, negotiating power the customer has. So this merger, I think if it goes through, I'm not even sure what it would do to competition. And a lot of our members use rail. We have grain, as I said, we have paper, we have things that can't really move by truck until that last miles. So rail is very important to my shippers, and they're all mixed on it. We don't have a final, yay or up or down on this particular one, except for that we're very much against any more mergers. Same with the ocean carriers. So hopefully the Surface Transportation Board will look at this seriously. The problem there, really quickly. So the Surface Transportation Board is the one that will decide if this merger goes through. Right now, that board, there's supposed to be 5. There's only 4. There's 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. So it could be a hung jury unless they get their 5th
You think?
board member. So that's a dilemma in itself, just for this merger to go forward. The merger will take close to 2 years. It's not something that happens. There's lots of steps in the merger, which I'd be happy to get into in the next one. So there's time for people to make comment and to really think through what that merger means.
Really. I got to wrap you up. I promise you, Nancy, soon. Not like in a couple of months. Soon we're going to get you back on. I do think it's ironic, though. You guys have been around since 1907, right? The president at the time was reelected precisely to stop stuff like this from happening. Ironically, the man who was president, Teddy Roosevelt, would have been against this with every ounce of his fiber and fought it right down tooth and nail as we kind of move forward into the 21st century, where the future seems to now be yesterday. Nancy, it is a pleasure to meet you. I know you've been on with Dave before. We're going to have you back, I promise.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Next time, again, I'll be right with a new phone.
Thank you so much.
NITL.org. Please check them out. Big thanks to Nancy, who is the executive director over there. They do really important work, no matter what side of the fence you are in the conversation.